Hello. Thank you guys so much for coming to this AMA today. I really appreciate it. It's Friday. It's 11 a.m. here in Florida. I appreciate you guys all stopping by. If this is the first time that you've caught one of my AMAs in a while, the first thing you might be asking yourself is, why isn't it on Monday at 3 p.m.? I've recently shifted to Friday at 11 a.m., and I hope that time is okay for you. This time personally works better for my schedule. I wake up a lot earlier in Florida, and especially on AMA days, I have to make it to the gym, and I also have to, I got some feedback there. Let me fix that. I also have to, get in the sauna before the AMAs. It makes me much better, but let me say hi to everybody that's already here. I see Farah. Let me move the chat over here. Billy, what's up, man? Open man. Give me that AGIX bridge, damn it. Hell yeah. Or it's damn nice. Peter, Dave, Ada Global, Advance Yourself, Snowman, hello all, Farah, Savage. I appreciate you guys. I have some details about the summit, specifically in Wyoming, that we're going to be going over in just a second. But we have a few topics to cover today. We have the Cardano 2021 Summit. We have the AGI bridge to Cardano, and also a little bit more information about the Erc20 Converter, which we've all been very, very excited for. And also Mycelial Gallery. As you guys know, the burn is happening Monday. Very excited for that. Very excited for that. So we're going to take some time to, talk about Mycelial Gallery. And then also after the three topics I have for today, what we always do is we answer your questions. What's going through your head? Are you excited? Do you have any questions about how Cardano works or Mycelial Gallery or Cardano NFTs? Anything under the sun we can answer, because it is an Ask Me Anything. I'm very happy to be with you guys today. I apologize for being late. I went to the gym and then I had a call with Anthony afterwards. We're talking about something that we're building, and we're both damn excited about it. And we just, we're so excited we kept talking for too long. So it pushed my shower back. So I apologize for being 20 minutes late today, but next time I promise I'll be here at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the AMA. We do these every Friday. If you guys want to support the channel, the easiest way you can do is just click that like button. I'd really appreciate it. We got 50 people here and only 19 likes. We can get those numbers up. But let's get into the first story for today. And I have this set up for John O'Connor. Let me fix that real quick. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, the Cardano 2021 Summit. Be there or be square. You don't have to be. I understand that maybe some are worried about COVID or anything else, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in Laramie, Wyoming at the main event, and the summit is going to be happening the 25th and the 26th. I did get confirmation from IOG. I'm going to be there. My partner Anthony's going to be there. There are a lot of people in the community that are going to be there, so if you want to come and shoot the shit with us, we'd really appreciate that. We're going to be bringing merch as well. We're going to be bringing some free t-shirts and some stickers to thank all of you guys. And, I also want to say that that's not all we do. We're not just bringing t-shirts to market. We're bringing them as like kind of a thank you to you guys. And, we're going to be giving them all away for free. I just saw something on Twitter the other day where it's like, this guy was like, oh, well, while you guys are giving away t-shirts, I'm going to be here building. And it's like, no, we're building too. You just don't know about it yet, Okay, so if you guys want to come to the summit, but what's very interesting about the summit, and I honestly like this a lot, is there's going to be subsection events. You're going to have one. There's one in Miami. There's one in London. There's actually going to be these events all over the world. So if you live near a big city or you live near, somewhere where they may be hosting one of these events, just ask the community and see if they are hosting an event there, because we're all going to be having the essentially celebration, the Goguen celebration at the same time. And I personally believe that there's going to be a big announcement. And I think that the announcement is going to be a nation state, another government deal in Africa. That's what I personally believe, but that's just speculation. No financial advice. Don't make any decisions off of that. It's just Charles mentioned in an AMA that wait for the 25th for our next government announcement. So, he said it. I'm not a genius for figuring this out. So it'll be very cool, to all be around the world and be at different events, and all to at the same time be celebrating something greater than ourselves. So I'm looking forward to that, and I would love to meet each and every one of you. If you do have the time to come out, it is on a weekend. I'm going to be getting there on Friday and heading out on either Sunday night or Monday. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. I feel like this is I don't know, it's the first time that, I'm going to be meeting a large majority of the people I've talked to on the internet for a year. And I've made some great friends and met some awesome people. And I know it sounds cliche and stupid, but, when you do this stuff full time, you do spend a lot of time talking to people, and you meet some awesome people doing that. So I'm very excited for that. But this is even more exciting, in my opinion. Ben Gortzel. So excited for the next week. SingularityNet AGIX token will become multi-chain and extend to the fundamentally quite superior, okay, Ben Gortzel, Cardano blockchain. Kudos to IOHK Charles and all of IOG for making Cardano and making this happen. I like this art here. This art's pretty sick. The hexagons with the Cardano logo in the middle. That's like a desktop wallpaper. It kind of reminds me of like the old video games, kind of like the Risk-like video games, like Civ. So Cardano will launch ERC20 Converter bridge next week. What? Next week? I mean, do you guys know what that means? That's pretty crazy. This feature is expected to launch on September 12th as a component of the massively anticipated Alonzo hard fork upgrade. Wow. With this new tool going live on the testnet next week, hopes are high, and the new investors are giddy with excitement following last week's impressive bull run to new all-time highs. Yeah, we hit $3 last time since I've been on here. Yeah, it's been a week since the last AMA. We hit $3. Pretty cool. I can't say. If you guys watched my AMA when ADA hit $1, they said, Big Pay, what is your price prediction for this year? I was like, okay, ADA hit $1. I'll tell you guys. I'll hook you up. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I sat there for a while in silence, and I chose $3. And as I said that, I was like, but don't trust me. I didn't think ADA was going to hit $1 in this very moment. And once again, I am wrong because ADA has passed through 3, and who knows where it's going to go from here. But my price prediction was $3, so let's hope I'm wrong. So they're just stating when we learned about the ERC20 converter, they announced it back in May. And, for you guys that are new, what is the ERC20 converter? Well, it's kind of one of the most important, features of Cardano. It's, the backwards compatibility feature. It's actually it reminds me of like if you had a PS2 and then the PS3 was coming out, but all the PS2 games worked. And that's actually how it worked. PS2 games did work on PS3. So that was a more attractive, to me, purchase than the Xbox. And that's what, Cardano, even though it's being the 3rd generation blockchain and it's having all of these new features, we're also allowing anybody on the old blockchain, the 2nd generation blockchain, to move those currencies over here because there is a lot of utility on Ethereum. I even use Ethereum for USDC. I use Ethereum for some of the smart contracts. And, this will actually let me store some of these tokens in my Cardano wallet. And I'm very excited about that. According to the ADA founder, more than 100 companies have already announced that they will soon be moving across Ethereum to Cardano. Interestingly, some analysts suggest the ERC20 converter could enhance security for ERC20 users. I like that little slide in there. Kind of reminds me of Ben Gortzel's. The first token to be migrated to Cardano upon launch will be SingularityNet, and that's AGIX, formerly AGI, a network specializing in decentralized artificial intelligence. The startup plans to be the first to migrate, moving its native AGIX token to the Cardano network. This comes after a swath, I don't know if I like that word, of positive news coming out of the Cardano project, with Hoskinson recently announcing his intention to put in a bid to build a blockchain-based national ID system in Ethiopia. And that's what John O'Connor said on my podcast yesterday. If you guys haven't seen the John O'Connor podcast, YouTube didn't like it. I think it's because we said a couple controversial things in that video. So if you guys can, I'd really appreciate it if you guys watch that video when you're done here today. It was a great podcast. In my opinion, it was one of my best. And it's because John's a pretty awesome dude. IOHK successfully getting ADA listed in the super strict Japanese regulatory environment, and now, of course, a new all-time high for Cardano in the past week's juicy price action. A lot has been going on. A lot has been popping off, but from this article, as you can see, they don't mention any other coins. So it seems to me that, this coin, AGIX, will be the only token that can be converted day one. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to use, USDC or any other tokens, but it's still cool to see AGIX, being able to be moved. And then if we go to coin market cap, I also thought this was funny. AGIX has been getting the big Cardano pump, in my opinion. But very cool, very cool. So Mycelial Gallery, I guess I should say hi to the chat real quick. It's been a while. Brody said, thank you, Pay. If it weren't for you, I would have not gotten into ADA. I appreciate you, big man. Hey, I appreciate you coming here today. I appreciate you. What's up, Bloom Breed? I appreciate you coming by. AI says, now I need to hit 10 USD. Why do you need that, AI? What are you trying to buy? What are you trying to get? Trying to get a yacht? AGIX, it's crazy. It is crazy, man. It is crazy. Can't wait to convert my AGIX. Me either, man. Just to have the AGIX sitting in the Cardano wallet. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Allowing ETH users to upgrade their garbage broken tokens. I think that's a little hateful, Brody. I think it's a little hateful. There are some great protocols and some great innovators on Ethereum, and I'm very happy to welcome their smart minds to a better protocol. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the converter requires the token developers to build the bridge, right? That's what I have understood thus far, but I don't know if that's the case. And as you can see here, the only token that is going to be allowed to be able to be moved day one is AGIX. So, they've been working on that before anybody, so it would make sense. The logical progression of that is that, it is on them to build it, unless IOG built this for them because it's the first one, What's up, Grace Call? I appreciate you coming by. Rebel Coder says, hey from London. Hey from Florida, man. I appreciate it. Heck yeah, Doge too, right? Nope, no Doge. Doge is actually on its own protocol, and it's like a fork of Litecoin, I think, which is pretty weird. So if we did get like a Litecoin bridge, then maybe. Holding my unframed Lovelace. Hell yeah, man. A speedboat. You can't fish off a speedboat, really? Is it kind of like a jet ski? Does it go too fast? What do you think Cardano is such a big thing? While there are blockchains that already have similar performance, Harmony, Zequilla, etc. That is a great question, Rebel. Let's talk about that in a second. I want to talk about Mycelial and then the burn, and we'll come right back to that question. If I do forget it, just paste it in again. I won't be mad at you. So, Mycelial Gallery. The burn is coming on September 6th at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The burn period will last 3 months. At that point, there will be no more burns. Or there will be no burns, not no more. And the total supply will be final. Heckin' yeah, dudes. I am so excited. The burn is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. So for you guys that don't understand what I'm talking about here, Mycelial Gallery is my NFT project. And, there are 7 different cards that you could have collected. And if you collected all 7 cards of the same tier, whether it be print, silver, gold, black, if you collect all 7 of the same tier, you can actually burn those for a mystery 8th card in return. And that date, the launch of that burn is actually coming Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I said PM there. I meant AM. Very sorry about that. I'm just noticing that now. It is going to be 11 a.m. But just keep in mind that the burn period is 3 months long. And there's no incentive for you to actually be first. And a lot of people have asked the question, what happens, what number do I get from the 8th card? You actually get whatever number that is the exact same as the Cardano you're burning. So our thought process behind that is, the limiting factor of the burn is the Cardano NFT. And then for every Cardano that is missing, there will be an 8th card that represents the number that has been burned. And to me, game theory wise, that makes the most sense. And I also do feel that it was fair because, anybody could have pulled any of those, good Cardano numbers, or, even the number that they wanted randomly from the initial NFT drop. And, people had a week to do that. So I do think this is the fairest route. And I'm sorry for anybody that disagrees with that. But I'll go back to that great question that you had earlier. So why do you think Cardano is such a big thing while there are blockchains that already have similar performance, Harmony, Zilliqa, etc.? That's a great question, Rebel. And I've been thinking a lot about this. And I think the answer, and it's not what you're going to expect me to think. I think the answer is in the proof of stake protocol itself, right? When you look into these other blockchains, what a lot of them mess up, and I haven't looked into Solana yet, so I will not speak on that, but usually what is wrong to me with these other blockchains and where Cardano always succeeds is in the consensus mechanism. It's in the proof of stake mechanism, the way it works, the way it incentivizes your users, the way it rewards users, the way it rewards stake pool operators. I mean, there are multiple reasons why, and I think a bit of the price is Goguen speculation, but, before the Goguen speculation, if we just took that out of it, the real value that Cardano has is Ouroboros Preos. It was the original paper, written about how a proof of stake or proof of stake protocol ought to work, right? And there are so many advantages to Ouroboros Preos compared to ETH 2.0. And the first one that I can think of is pretty obvious, right? You need a large amount of ETH to fill up a node, and that number is actually 32 ETH. So I'm a technical guy, I know Linux, I can set up my own server, and if I had 32 ETH, then I could stake and I could earn a percentage. But what is so unique about the Cardano blockchain is that you don't have to have 32 ETH. You don't have to be a technical guy to get paid to participate in the protocol. And there is so much value in just giving someone a paycheck every 5 days. It incentivizes more users. It incentivizes people to tell their friends, because not only are you getting paid that 5%, you actually have it in your own wallet. You can have it in your hardware wallet. Staking on ETH right now, before ETH 2.0, you always have to lose control over the funds. In ETH 2.0, it's the same way for most people, because if you don't have 32 ETH, you're going to have to partner up with somebody. And who are you going to partner up with? Right? You're also going to have to find somebody that's technical, and the technical person is going to have control over the funds, to sign the transactions, to put in the node. So, instead of limiting, which is what Bitcoin has always done, Bitcoin and ETH has always limited the inflation to the miners. Instead, Cardano gives the inflation to all of us, and we can all participate without giving up control of our funds to a third party. And there is so much value in that. And then also, if we start to look at it like, the stake pools, right? There are 2,000 stake pools on Cardano right now. And, some of there's going to be some multi-pools. So let's just say there's 1,000 pools right now, 1,000 different people that wake up in the morning to build on Cardano, to have a stake pool. What all of those people are marketers for the chain. And they're also a help desk. Anybody that messages me and say, hey, Pay, how do I stake? Or hey, Pay, what is Cardano? Hey, Pay, what is this? What wallet do I use? Even if they don't stake to Bloom, I still help them out. So Cardano's value, I think, that a lot of people ignore is in Ouroboros Preos, the proof of stake mechanism, 2, the community, and 3, the army of marketers that have been created. And yeah, and that's another thing. Michael Day says it's not owned by a VC. Army of Spies brought up a great point. And his point was, you wonder why Cardano isn't, being written in CoinDesk articles and has all these hate, and all the hate from the Coinbase people, and all the hate from, all of these, what seem like institutional parties. An Army of Spies argument was, that's because they didn't get in early, and the only thing that they like is shit that they can get in early and cheaper than anyone else, and Cardano wasn't that. Cardano ICO'd in Japan. And I mean, the list really goes on too. And he's right. There's 111 people here, only 65 likes. I would appreciate it if you guys liked it. Cardano is doing multiple things. This is Advance Yourself. And if you guys are just tuning in, this is a Cardano AMA. Any questions you guys have, you drive the conversation. So if you want to talk about something else, just let me know. I'll answer your question. Advance Yourself says, in my opinion, Cardano is doing multiple things that other systems are not. Decentralized identity, worldwide adoption, catalyst voting, smart business direction, and leadership. I agree with that entirely. You know, the decentralized identity, Atala Prism, you know, the Ethiopia deal, that was a big, in my eyes, a big before and after for the Cardano blockchain. 5 million users in Ethiopia. You know, I actually asked John on the podcast a couple of days ago. I said, John, you know, was that like a before and after moment for you? You know, did the phone start ringing? And I mean, watch it. Look at his face. I mean, look at his eyes flutter and what his mouth does. I mean, it's obvious that as soon as that deal was signed and as soon as they announced it and as soon as they released that article, that was a before and after moment for Cardano. You know, Cardano has done a deal with the government, and that deal includes decentralized identities on the blockchain. And that makes them, you know, essentially this, you know, magnum opus for these governmental deals. You know, they've already done it. Ethiopia chose to, you know, work with them before, you know, and then also, you know, who are you going to work with when you have 4 blockchains that are offering these same services, but one of them says this is actually peer-reviewed at cryptography conferences, you know, using the method that we've had, you know, for science for many of years, you know, that's brought us most of the things that we like today. Another thing, Project Catalyst. I mean, this is like just us saying all the good things about Cardano. I mean, there's over $1 billion in the Catalyst treasury, and it really shows you the ethos, that is the difference in ethos between the Ethereum community and between the Cardano community. And the difference in ethos is, you know, instead of paying the miners all of these high fees, screw it. We'll just burn them. You know, whereas Cardano, we're not looking at burning coins. We're looking at taking, and the parameter for this is actually called tau. And a percentage of your staking rewards is actually taxed. And it goes to the treasury to fund the builders of Cardano. And, you know, we can all vote for those builders. And as long as Cardano, you know, the actual wallet holding remains decentralized, then we have a decentralized governance system, you know, where we can fund the building and the build out of anything that we want on the blockchain. And there's something incredible about that. 1.7 billion, I guess, you know, I was saying 1 billion a while ago. We've definitely gone up a large amount in price since then, so. Smart contracts will soon be point and click, drag and drop, no technology needed, smart contracts to the masses. It's another thing. Secret of Drowning, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming by today. I've never heard of that, Native Tree Man. Joseph Coolman said family and friends. I didn't see your original message. Will Atala Prism be ready to go live after smart contracts capability is enabled on the 12th? That's a great question, Landon. I don't know. John said that they're going to have 1 million users on the Cardano blockchain by the end of the year that he hopes. So to me, that means Atala Prism, you know, in its basic form by the end of the year. Advance Yourself says Cardano is literally paving the way for true cryptography and academics. Threw me off. I was thinking academia. But they're trying to build an ecosystem and pave the way for the next generation to become educated. And that is why Ouroboros Preos and many of their other papers have been referenced so many times. You know, last time I checked, it was over 100 references, which is crazy. They have over 100 papers at this point as well. Dale Bava says, as a fellow technical dude, list a few things I have to know to run run a stake pool. Is there a Docker image I can use? Secret stats, etc. So the stats that most people use is Grafana. You know, to query data from the server. And then really what you need to know is Cardano node, Cardano CLI, Linux, and then sysadmin stuff. You know, that's really all you need to know. There are Docker images. I've never used the Docker image. You know, when I first started, we didn't have those back then, but I think a lot of people do use Docker images now. But Cardano node and Cardano CLI are really the two main softwares that you have to learn to be a stake pool operator if you already know Linux. Will you do another interview with Charles Hoskinson? I hope so. So if you guys remember the last interview I did with him, at the very end of it, I'll just tell you guys the whole story. So I wanted to do a podcast with him in person, and I asked him, I was like, hey, you know, I want to do a podcast with you in person, you know, whatever you want. I'll fly out to you, or if we happen to, you know, cross somewhere, you know, I would love to do a podcast in person because I feel like that's a more, you know, a better podcast, you know, in my eyes. I would like my podcast to be in person in the future, you know, hopefully, you know, with a couple years or something. And he said, you know, I can't, I'm too busy, which is completely understandable. And then we scheduled an online podcast, which I was thrilled to have him on. We had him on. It was a great time. And then at the very end, he's like, you know, he's like, next time I'm in Florida, he's like, we're going to set up that podcast and we're going to talk Goguen for 3 hours. I was like, fuck yes. Let's do it. Let's do this. I cannot think of a better 3 hours that I could have than talking Goguen with Charles Hoskinson. And he told me that he would do it right after the Lex Friedman podcast. And that was a month ago. So I think my time is coming soon, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's coming soon. If not, he'll make it around. Oh, okay, Joseph, I see now. That'd be pretty cool if I got some gold animated mycelials behind me. Love that. Being able to borrow against your ADA is amazing. No selling. Use Nexo or other future borrowing platforms, hopefully decentralized. I know I would love that, man. Instead of paying that dirty capital gains tax, it'd be so cool to actually just put your ADA in a smart contract, take out a loan on it for your expenses. Look forward to that. Grayskull says, haha, that would be awesome. If I would walk out of work to watch that podcast live. Yeah, it would be awesome. And the reason he even said that, like we can talk Goguen for 3 hours, is because I tried to like design it to be a very cool podcast for all the new people that were coming in from the Merry Hard Fork and from Coinbase and all the shit that was going on. You know, I designed the podcast really as like, you know, firstly, what is Cardano? Real basic, real quick. And then went through all the cycles, you know. What is Byron? What is Shelley? What is Goguen? What is Hydra? And, you know, we spent 30 minutes talking about Goguen. I was like, we must move on. You know, I have this outline here. And that's why at the end, he was like, after Lex, 3 hours of just Goguen. And I'm like, yes. Because I was like, I can talk about this all day. All day. Secret of Drowning said, if you want me in the room with you and Charles for the podcast as a moderator or your attorney, I'm available. I'm down. Celsius for borrowing. Celsius did actually just get ADA. But my issue with a lot of these loaning services is that they actually don't use your staking rewards to pay the loan. So it's just real hard for me to take a loan out of my ADA unless the loan is paying the rewards, you know, and then I'm sure I'm going to have a Meld guy say, Meld does that. There's going to be a bunch of protocols that do that. And whichever one is the best, I'll use, whether it's Meld or whether it's Cardano loans, you know, because that's just To me, that's the next logical step. You know, if you are taking out a loan on your ADA and a smart contract has the ability to stake, which they do, and they're earning 5%, then where should that money go? It should pay off the loan, you know? And I mean, maybe that's something Bloom could offer in the future. What? Yes, Nexo already allows borrowing against ADA in the EU/UK, and your crypto is insured up to 100 mil. Very cool. That is very cool. That is very cool. Always remember with loan services, not your keys, not your wallet. He's right. He's right. And that's why we need the decentralized version of this, right? To where we can just put our ADA into a Bloom smart contract and have it give you, you know, a USD stablecoin in return. And then the ADA is staked to a Bloom pool. And then at the same time, the Bloom pool staking payment is paying your loan. Crazy idea. Chris says the John O'Connor interview was awesome. I'm happy to hear it, man. I really enjoyed it too. I really did. It made my day. Always wanted to talk to that guy. Do you know anything about a Dapp browser being created for the Cardano wallet? So the closest thing that I can think of would be the Namey wallet. And I actually have it. I have it on my computer. Let me make sure I don't have some big bags in there. So this is the closest wallet I've seen to a Dapp connector. It's called the Namey wallet. But there's no staking services in there. That's my one complaint. That's my one complaint with Namey is you can't stake anywhere. And I understand that it's cool to stake to his pool. And I would honestly be fine if that was the default. But because of it being a Dapp connector, I feel that it should have the ability to stake if it's like the general, everyone uses it wallet. But at the same time, stating that if it is a Dapp connector, people can just stake to another pool by using a smart contract. But that kind of removes the ability to have the ADA in your own wallet. I think there are going to be a few Dapp connectors. I think we're going to get one from DC Spark. I think Uroy's been pretty choppy lately since Sebastian and Nico left. I hope that gets fixed because there's a lot of people that use Uroy. I have recommended Uroy for almost 2 years now. So I hope that does get fixed. ccwallet.io mixed with a hardware wallet is awesome. But you know, saying any of these wallets, I do not recommend you to have ADA anywhere unless you have a Trezor, you know, or a Ledger, because, you know, if someone does have a keylogger on your computer, they can type in their address and take all your funds, and I wouldn't want that to happen to you. I have seen people with millions of dollars that can be stolen with a password, and I have helped many people change that. So I would appreciate it if you did as well. Tony says it couldn't be a bigger loan than your rewards then, right? So the loan would have to follow, you know, traditional securable loans with an asset, right? So you'd have to have a 25% LTV. And, you know, as you increase your LTV and as you take out more money, then the loan will get higher risk, right? So that's how it would be based. You know, your loan's going to be based on what you're actually, you know, locking up in the smart contract itself. Secret of Drowning said, my mind is blown on the thought of borrowing against your ADA and not paying capital gains. Definitely need to learn more. That is kind of that's the way to do it. That's like if you ever watch like the cliche YouTube videos where they're like, this is what the rich do. This is how the rich stay rich. They don't pay any taxes. That's what they do. You know, imagine if you had, like Michael Saylor always says it. He's like, imagine if you had a prime real estate in the middle of Manhattan. Do you think you're selling that real estate for your income? You are loaning on that real estate, and the generations will continue to loan on that real estate, and you'll pay it back with the money that you're earning from the real estate. And that's essentially what you can do with ADA. How many Bloom tokens are we going to get for staking in a Bloom pool? That is going to be released in the white paper. Wired Face, thank you for asking. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. There's going to be a Bloom airdrop of sort coming very soon. I'll drop that little bomb out there as well. Because there's some OGs in this chat. You know, there's only 101 people here. It's Friday at 12 p.m. You know, so if you're here right now, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting me. Secret of Drowning said, so that works as ADA goes up in value, but what happens in a bear market as prices go down? So that's what I brought up earlier. I said the loan to value ratio. So if you want a 25% loan to value ratio, you know, that's a lower risk loan. You know, you're only taking out, you know, 25% of the asset that you're locking up, right? So if that asset goes up, then that LTV is going to start to come down, right? And when the LTV starts to come down, if you want to stay at 25%, you can start to pull some of that ADA out of there, right? So in an appreciating time, it's a good gig, you know, but if it goes down, you know, you want to keep that LTV around 25%. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to add in more ADA to keep that LTV, you know, within their margin. And, you know, the smart contract and the site that is giving you the smart contract, you know, it should state, you know, risk adverse and, you know, what to do and maybe to have some backup. But, you know, taking out loans on your assets, it's not an easy thing. You know, it's something that you really have to think about when you do, and you can't just go willy-nilly spend the money on a nice car, you know, because one day that LTV could come down. You could have to pay that cash back. But, you know, if you weren't unreasonable with the cash that you took out, and you also had the ability to pay it off at any time, it's definitely a good way to go instead of paying the capital gains tax, in my opinion. No financial advice. When you borrow against ADA, it's their interest. Or is their interest? Well, it depends, right? In my opinion, you know, if we build a protocol, right, and we have a liquidity pool that we all pitch in so people can take out loans on their ADA, and we all pitch in ADA, and it generates, you know, the stable coin when we pitch it in, you know, shouldn't the people that are participating get paid a little bit? I think that there should be an interest rate, right? And there also has to be an interest rate to cover it if people don't pay. So all of this, honestly, in my opinion, shouldn't be derived from me, and it shouldn't be derived from some random guy that's saying they're going to build this. This should be derived from cryptography peer-reviewed papers. In my opinion, you know, I am not planning on building, you know, the most secure smart contract that does this, but I bet there are people that will write a cryptography paper stating this is how this will be done securely. And I want to be the guy that implements that, you know. When you borrow against ADA, I already read that one. Hi, from SAZA, and went to start a stake pool, but the number went up, so I'm trying to figure out what's the minimum amount to pledge to get started. The minimum amount to pledge is 0, brother. It is 0. Pledge really right now is an advertisement, but I do see this changing in the future. I think in the future there will be essentially an optimum pledge, but right now you can sort of stake pool and get delegation with 0 ADA pledged if you'd like. What about those of us who have massive amounts in ADA in your pools for over a year? Will you pay us back? I like that. P-A-Y? Back us? So Farah, the airdrop that we're talking about, it's not going to be for those that join the pool, you know. It's not going to be for those that join the pool after the Goguen launch. I will say that. So it will go to those who have been with us for the past year, and not those after the airdrop that I mentioned. So great question, Farah. We do love you guys, and you know, that's who we're looking to reward with our airdrop. 100% of the way, by the way. Hello from Windsor, England, home to the Queen and the Queen of Band, and the Queen the Band. Oh, I didn't really know Queen the Band was from England. I guess it kind of makes sense. With Bloom since the 8th block, y'all go big, go Bloom. Hell yeah, dude. That's crazy. You've been here since the 8th block. Happy to have you, man. That's OG status, man. And we won't forget that. That's for sure. Happy Friday, Pay, and everyone else. Super busy day for me. It's a busy day for us all, but I appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you so much. Plus one like. Good afternoon, Pay. What's up, Brad Schultz? I appreciate you coming by once again. Hey, man, this is my first stream, but you're already my favorite crypto YouTuber. I appreciate that, Dylan. You're the man. Sober and concise analysis earlier. I try, man. And if I ever don't have a sober and concise analysis, just tell me. Let's have a discussion about it, and I'll try to figure out where I'm wrong or figure out where you're wrong. I am just speaking live. So sometimes I will say the wrong thing. Sometimes I'll be incorrect in my analysis, but I'm speaking live the following Friday at 11 a.m. So I'll have that time to fix that. As long as you message me and call me an idiot, So it's too late to join your pool now. As long as you stake, okay. I'll give out a little bit of info. As long as you stake before the 12th, you'll be included in the airdrop. I said it. So yeah, it's not too early, man. In your opinion, will there be a tsunami of either HIM projects moving to Cardano to save on gas fees? That's a great question, David. That is a great question. So, often, and I did this too, and I still do it now, I keep thinking about what projects are going to move to Cardano from ETH. How do we get the Uniswap? How do we get, all of these great projects on ETH to move to Cardano? And I think we're thinking about it too linearly, we're thinking about it from the eyes that we already have in the crypto space. But if you've noticed, Cardano is kind of making waves past the crypto space, right? There are a lot of people coming to Cardano that skipped Ethereum, that maybe have skipped Bitcoin. And a lot of these guys are developers. I've talked to them. And, what's very interesting, I learned this from my Pi podcast. It's not so easy to build a Uniswap clone on Cardano because you actually have to use a different language, and the extended UTXO format is so different than the account/balance model that we're not going to just have Uniswap day one. People have to write out these and think about how ought this to work in UTXO, and it's not going to just be a direct copy. And it reminds me of this video. If you have not watched this video from Charles Hoskinson, click out of here. I'm just kidding. Stay till the end for my watch time. It's called the Island, the Ocean, and the Pond. And, the analogy there, and the message he was trying to get across was, we are the pond, and the ocean is a sea of developers and a sea of builders and talented people, and Plutus is the island, right? So this narrow idea of bringing over Ethereum developers to Cardano I don't think is the way that we should be thinking. I think that we're going to have developers building entirely new things in an entirely different way, and we're not going to rely on the tiny pond that is Ethereum. We would love them to come over, and that's what the sidechain is for. The ability to actually write Solidity smart contracts on Cardano. It's there. It's important. That's the pond, right? But to think that that's the only people we're going to have building on this new protocol that has gotten all this press at this point and has actually gotten its message out there to all of these talented people in the world. I mean, how many people watch that Lex Fridman podcast? And Lex Fridman has very, very technical podcasts. And I've met a lot of people here building. So 6 months to a year, I'm not too worried about Ethereum guys coming over. I'm thinking more about people already here, or the people that will come for the first time to build in a cryptocurrency for the first time. But let me find that Charles video. I want to know how much it got. Look at this. 558,000, but looking just below that, Vitalik got 1.3 million views, right? So there is, a big sea of talent over in Ethereum, and I would love for them to all come, but I don't think that we're going to rely on that. Will it be possible to migrate NFTs from ETH? I hope so, man. I hope so. Will the airdrop be based on quantity staked? Yes. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Do you support Rare Pepes as the first blockchain art project? On what blockchain, man? I think Cardano Kids was the first. I mean, Cardano Kids shot me a DM last November before I even knew what an NFT was. And he probably thought I was being mean to him. He's like, hey, I'm going to do this like art on Cardano. And I'm like, what is that? And I never even replied to him. But he's the first. I mean, he was building NFTs and designing NFTs before we even had the ability to. So shout out to Cardano Kids, man. He is the NFT OG in my opinion. And then second to that would be Alessandro, in my opinion. Rob said, I used to wear your t-shirts, Fruit of the Bloom. I like that. Is Ethan Cardano made to be one for it to work? All of it? The space. Joseph, use a little bit more words. Cardano and ETH, they're not made to be one, but I think the future of cryptocurrency is interoperability between these networks, right? Kind of think of it like adding a friend on Facebook, but you're adding him on Twitter. Like you're querying everything, but the interoperability is simply going to be tokens. I have an Ethereum token and I can move it to Cardano as long as the creator of that Ethereum token builds it and lets me do that. Johan says, I like Sunday a lot. Your interview with them a couple days ago shows how much they've adjusted to community concerns. Liquid looks like they're going to bring it also. I agree, man. I like Sunday a lot too. And that's what I said in that podcast is like, anything that we brought up, anything the community stated, it seems that you guys are trying to shift, to really be a community project. And that's important for decentralized projects. It's very important. You build, I'll support. That's have the sword. Hell yeah. How is Lovelace Academy doing? I don't know. It's a good question. I'm sure they're doing well. Shwade is pretty awesome. Sorry if I missed it, but what value will Bloom token have? Sorry if I sound ignorant. No, man. No, there's no ignorant questions here. You guys can ask, whatever you think is a stupid question, and we'll get it answered. But the value of the Bloom tokens, I'm going to hold off on it. I'll tell you very soon. We have been, this is what we've been thinking about, every day for, many months now. And I have, I know what it is, but I want to make sure that I, illustrate that in a clear, concise way for you. I don't think now's the time. I've dropped enough bombs in here, but we will establish the Bloom token value for you very shortly. Will it be September 6th when it's public? What September 6th? Do you mean the white paper? Yes, I just got my first Cardano Kids this morning. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Centralized to decentralized. I'm waiting for Voltaire for that. Anthony responded, is more importantly, what can the Bloom token can it do? What utility will it have? Good response. Do you delegate to SBOs or do you run many pools? I do run a pool. I run Bloom through Bloom 6. We actually been in the 8th block on the Cardano blockchain. We've been here from the beginning and we'll be here till my end because Cardano will live past me, at least. Hopefully not you, or hopefully you, whatever you prefer. And we pay kick-ass rewards, kick-ass ADA rewards. And on top of the ADA rewards, you actually earn Bloom tokens for staking to Bloom. And that's what we've been building. Any of the Bloom pools good for the airdrop? Yep, any of them. Bloom through Bloom 6. All of them are good. All of them pay the same amount, and it'll all be based on the amount that you actually stake. Nick Day said, do you have any idea on how to spread delegation to the edges? I really think that we're going to need an A0 rework to do that, man. You know, the fact that marketing is the only way that you can achieve delegation and not pledge and not technical ability is really the cause of some of the centralization, in my opinion. But I honestly think, you know, we're doing pretty good relative to other blockchains. I was speaking with somebody about Binance, and he was really talking mad shit about Cardano. He was like, well, it's a fucking scam. It's a ghost chain. What's going on? I was like, you know, how many validator nodes are there? He tells me like 12. And I was like, well, who selects those validator nodes? Binance. Okay. Okay. What Bloom pool needs more delegators? Bloom 6. Bloom 6. I'm in Bloom 6. I'm in Bloom 4 as well. How much RAM does your pool/relays have? 16 gigabytes per node, Nick Day. When is what dropping, Ken Mon? And thank you for the super chat earlier. I answered your question, but I didn't thank you for it. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I also added the mycelials into the emojis. The cat, oh, the cat's broken. The cat's supposed to move. Damn it. Damn it. Gray Skull just delegated to Bloom 6. Booyah! Hell yeah! Hell yeah, I appreciate that. We still streaming? We still going? I think we just had a little lag there for a second. So no, we did not give out the date of the airdrop. We're still working out the technicalities of that. But, I mean, we would like to do it ASAP. You know, we're thinking the 12th. That's a tentative date. But, you know, I would say within 3 weeks is what I would say. Yeah, on mine, it was actually cutting out for a second. It's cutting out. Tony said, do you keep any of that ADA and give us leftovers as Bloom after it is released? Can you tell us a little bit more, Tony? Tell us a little bit more about what you're asking. I want to get that question answered for you. Secret of Drowning said, delegation to Bloom 6 coming your way when I get home. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, just imagine the cat. Yes. Hell yeah. I'll take one more or two more questions before we head out of here for the day. What do you guys got for me? Let's get a grand one. A grandiose one. We have more viewers now than when we started. I appreciate that. If you guys are just tuning in, I do these every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I answer any Cardano questions relative to NFTs, relative to stake pools, relative to Goguen. Anything you guys need, I'm here for you. I'm waiting for my ledger. Hope it arrives soon to stake. Me too, man. Me too. As soon as we get the 8th card, I'm going to add the 8th card to the emojis as well. Very excited for that. Very excited for that. Just moved all of my ADA from ITC to Bloom 6. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys. You guys like airdrops then, don't you? Who's your favorite It is literally Pi asking me that question. Yeah, it's definitely you, man. I don't think I've had any more purple-haired people on the podcast. There could be more purple-haired viewers, but I would have to say that you're my favorite. For sure. For sure. We get staking rewards in Bloom and ADA for staking with Bloom. Yes, yes. And, you know, even though we're additionally paying the Bloom tokens now, we have not increased our fees on the pools to account for those additional rewards. So, you know, and that's when I say, you know, the ADA is not an exchange for, you know, that's why I say that, is because we were charging that without it, and we want to actually pay these out on top of what we already pay. Can you buy the whole set all at once? Yeah, you have to buy it on the secondary market though. Dude, I want about, you know, you guys want ADA price? I want ADA to be stable right here, about 350. You know, it's all I could ever ask for. Just about 350. You know, it's not too much to ask for. With smart contracts coming, what are your thoughts on the current transaction per second of 7? How long do you think it'll be before they increase it to 100 or approve the efficiency up for 1000 given Hydra is in the dev? So as far as I know, Advance Yourself, the TPS is actually a parameter that can just be changed. But, you know, like most things, when you change something, there's definitely going to be a negative, you know, response, a negative, you know, really an inefficiency, right? There has to be. So I think we can increase that a little bit, but I think we'll need Hydra to really get up to 1,000. And that is a great question. You know, what time will we start reaching that cap? Because there are a lot of users here. There are a lot of NFT projects. There are a lot of great projects building DEXs. There are a lot of great projects, you know, building lending protocols. There's a lot happening. So I think the transaction of 7 per second, that can happen very quickly. That can happen very quickly. Are you sure it's only 7? I think it's more than that. I guess each block is about 20 seconds, right? I think every block is about 20 seconds. So that, I mean, if we do 7 times 20, that's how many TP or transactions in a block, maybe. Stream Nikki said, "Hey, Pay. Hope you're doing well. I was wondering why you prefer the CC wallet over others." So I prefer the CC wallet with the Trezor because it's very hard to trust. I know the guy that made it. His name is Marcel. Cool dude. I've known him for a while. He's been in the community for a while, and so I trust him. But you shouldn't trust anybody, in my opinion, and that's why you need one of these. Because when you have a Trezor and you use CC Wallet or you use your Roy or you use Daedalus, all that it gives them is your public key. And the only data they can pull up with your public key is the same data that you can pull up with ADDR1. You know, so I love CC Wallet because it's quick and it's clean and it's made well. You know, I for the NFT drop, I had a lot of UTXOs. So the way it works in Cardano with UTXOs is very interesting. It's very unique. So when I go to send you, like let's say, you know, Shroom Nikki, I want to send you 1 million ADA, you know. 1 million ADA is coming your way. And that 1 million ADA is actually coming from 2 transactions. Someone sent me 500,000 ADA here and 500,000 ADA here. So the way UTXO works is when you go to send the million, you have to actually reference 2 places that had that total amount, or 3 or 4 or 5, you know, how many ever TXs you need to send that 1 million ADA, you have to reference all of those to do it. And what was happening with your Roy, because the NFT project did so well, you know, I would go to try to send ADA out of it and your Roy would just break and crash. It would just crash. So, you know, I kept looking around. I'm like, you know, what do I do? This, not only can I not have, you know, this many UTXOs, your Roy couldn't even send more than like 20 or 30 UTXOs at a time. It would just crash. So CC Wallet actually let me reference about 160 transactions at a time to send, you know, the transaction out, which to me was very slick. You can also send multiple NFTs at the same time, you know. So if you're, burning in Mycelial Gallery, you can send all 7 into the burn with one transaction. And, this UTXO in that I was talking about earlier, this is going to be some good educational material for you. Let's turn around and do some education. That's actually how TX fees are processed. So, you've sent probably 100 ADA before, and then you've sent 1,000 ADA before, and you're like, wait, the 100 ADA, it was cheaper than it was to send the 1,000. What's happening here? Why is it more money to send less? And it's because the transaction fee goes up based on the amount of UTXOs that you use. So when you use like 160 UTXOs to send one transaction, the transaction can cost 2 ADA. So that's actually how fees work on Cardano. It's not the amount that you're sending. It can actually be cheaper to send 1 million ADA than it is to send 10 ADA if there's more UTXOs for the 10 ADA than there is for the 1 million ADA. I had to learn that, and that's how you learn best, is by building and doing. And I thought that was a damn cool way to learn. But Pi's got the good info for us. He says 8 megabytes per block. Average TX without smart contract is 500 blocks. It means you could theoretically have a 16,000 TX per block, which is around 1,000 TPS peak before Hydra. Hell yeah. But as you said, these transactions will get more complicated. Do you have any data about how more complicated they get? If it does have a smart contract inside of it, is it 1 byte or is it, 32 kilobytes? Like, what is one contract, in a transaction? Gaia says, hey, Peyton, Anthony, good to see you. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. YouTube needs crypto tipping. I agree, man. You don't got to tip me, though. No worries. Delegating to Bloom's all I need. I appreciate you guys. You and Pi always have the best shirts. I appreciate it. This is the OG shirt, man. I've had this for a couple years. Ergo Dex coming on the podcast soon. I asked him to. I hope they do. Johan said, good lesson, Pay. I was always wondering why I process transaction and always reference my rewards. I never understood it. I'm like, why when I send ADA now is it 0.2 ADA, but earlier it was 0.16 or 0.17? And I always thought it had to do with network congestion. If there's so many people in a block, then that's why. But no, it is actually a min UTXO fee. So it's the min fee relative to the amount of UTXOs you're using. Very cool. But damn. Pi said, contracts are beefy. We're seeing roughly 4 kilobytes for very simple scripts. Damn. And you said so if you scroll back up, 8 megabytes per block. So, that could still definitely fit a good amount of transactions in there, but not near as much as before. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and end it here today. So if you guys did enjoy this podcast, I really appreciate it. Click that like button, notification bell, all. We're going to be doing another one next Friday at 11 a.m. if you guys want to show up. Next podcast that is coming is going to be with Sebastian and Nico from Emergo, or it could be with Nicholas, their new hire. Any of them. I'm excited for it. And next week's going to be fun. We're going to be at the summit. Hope to see you there. But I hope you guys all have a beautiful weekend. I do. Nick Day said, could there be a utility to combine and split UTXOs in the future to make things cheaper in the future? I think so. Thanks for your interview with John Connor. Really good information provided. Hey, I'm happy you enjoyed it. Happy to teach you anything, man. That's like what I enjoy is teaching people shit, I'm realizing. I want all of you to be more educated. But, all right, see you guys. I'll do my shimmy, and we'll head out of here. There it do be.